Without wanting to sound melodramatic, I really want to thank you guys for being here for this one. This, in all likelihood, may be the most sentimental guitar I'll ever get to review ever. This is my dad's William S. Burroughs custom ESP Telecaster, and it actually freaks me out even having it in my house. The first thing I'm going to tell you is I had a moment where I had a friend come over and he wanted to take a picture of it, and I have these wall hangers on my, on the wall of my room, and I put the guitar on the wall, and it freaked me out to see it there, and I had to take it down because I just never thought I'd see a day that my dad wouldn't have this, and it just made me feel like he was gone to even have this in my house. So this is real shit for me. So anyhow, we're going to tell you all about this guitar. You're going to get to hear it, and well, let's get to it. So here we go, guys. This is a maple necked, rosewood fingerboarded, 22 fretted, abalone dot inlaid, alder bodied, bolt on necked, Seymour Duncan mini humbucker with chrome covered, hardtail Telecaster style guitar. The guitar itself is actually substantially bigger than a Fender Telecaster, at least I think so. Which is funny because I have two ESP Strats and they are both significantly smaller than a Fender Strat, so they kind of went the other way here. But yeah, let's get into it. So on the body of the guitar, my dad had these Burroughs quotes laid on top and then sealed, of course, and yeah, he got Burroughs to sign. And if we look up here, that's a picture of William with my dad, and up here above the fingerboard on the upper bout we have a picture of Burroughs, and in the center that's actually a sketch my mom drew, which you know, really kind of ties this whole thing together for me. So oh boy, yep, heavy stuff for me, man. But anyway, so that's the Burroughs guitar. Take a look at the back here. While you're looking at the back, I'm going to tell you a funny story. So, back when the Deftones were on the White Pony Tour, my dad got a hold of the guys at ESP. I was a really big Deftones fan, still am, and my friend Ryan, it was his favorite band, and we were kind of hoping we could get to meet him, so my dad got a hold of some guys at ESP, and it turns out that she, the bass player for the Deftones, if you don't know, is a huge Burroughs fan, and they said, I tell you what, why don't you bring the Burroughs guitar that I know you have, and bring it to the show, let Chi see it, and we'll send you backstage, whatever. And that's what we did. But the only funny part is that Chi locked himself up on a tour bus, and my dad tried to get on the tour bus, and security came out and was going to haul him out, and it was this very embarrassing, hilarious thing that my friend Ryan and I still joke around about, you know, some 10 or 15 years later, whatever it's been. So yeah, anyway, that would be this guitar. So anyway, guys, let's do some playing. So before we do some playing, let's talk a little bit about this and how this happened. If you don't know who William Burroughs is, if you're not sure if he's an architect or an astronaut or a veterinary assistant, to demystify that, William is an American author that I'm not sure really had any contemporaries when he started. There's the beat writers. You got guys like Allen Ginsberg, Kerouac, Kesey, and Aldous Huxley. There's like some authors that were kind of really out there, right? And I think William, I suppose, would be best sort of attributed to those kind of guys, but he was kind of especially out there. His most famous novel, I think we could say, is called It's called The Naked Lunch, and he wrote an autobiography called Junkie that is just incredible. I mean, it's William was a homosexual narcotics addict in a very conservative time in America, like in the 50s, and he's had a very bizarre life. And anyway, as far as authors go, I mean, he's very unique. So if you're into literature, you might want to give him a look if you haven't already. And if you've clicked this review, you might have a good idea of who I'm talking about. But anyhow, so here's the story. Towards the end of his life, you could book Burroughs to do speakings. He would come to universities or wherever, and there was, he had an agent, and you could pay, and he would come. And I'm going to tell you what I was told. My dad told me that he had a friend that was working at a university. My dad was a professor, by the way, and he was told that Burroughs was being hired to do speaking. And my dad asked if he could interview Burroughs, and they said they could try to set something up. So my dad told me, and this is totally typical, he bought a Mickey Mouse tape recorder. It was the only tape recorder he could find on short notice. He went to a store, and that's what they had. It was in the children's section. And it was this plastic Mickey Mouse cassette tape recorder. And he goes to this university, and they bring him back to meet Burroughs. And Burroughs sits down, and he looks at my dad. And Burroughs, by the way, like notoriously doesn't give interviews, he doesn't do whatever. And they said, we'll try, we'll see if we'll talk to you, whatever. So my dad comes in, kind of disheveled with this Mickey Mouse tape recorder, and Burroughs looks at him. He's like, you're not a regular press guy, are you? My dad's like, no, I'm not. And I guess Burroughs was amused enough to talk to my dad, and that's how they met. And they actually sparked a friendship. And my dad has this like satchel full of correspondence between him and Burroughs. And anyway, my dad ended up leaving the college he was teaching at and opened a guitar store. And this is around the time that ESP was just taking off. At the time, ESP, he told me, could only produce 2 pieces a month. If you can imagine that, and think about how big of a company they are now, but that's how it was. And he was selling all of them. He was selling out of ESPs all the time. He got to be very good friends with the guys there. And he had this guitar made, and he contacted William and asked him if he would sign it, and here we go. So that's how this happened. And it's just... I've had a very cool life, and I'm very fortunate to have been exposed to these things so young, and I don't know, if I can turn anybody on to anything cool, if I can get anybody into a kind of music they've never heard, or a guitar company they've never heard of, or in this case literature, that's awesome. So I mean, it means so much to me to get to be able to share this with you guys. So that's the story. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Believe me, I'm happy to talk about this stuff. But for those of you guys that just want to hear an ESP custom shop guitar, let's play it. So what do you play on a guitar that's dedicated to a guy that wrote about typewriters that turn into insects and come alive and talk to you? Well, I thought about dragging out my Moger Foger and all that stuff and making a whole bunch of racket, but I don't want to hear that either. So let's just show you how pretty this thing is. We got these mini Seymour Duncan chrome-covered humbuckers, which I can't say that I've ever seen them before. So let's show you how those sound. And again, alder body guitar, big old maple neck. Before I even start playing, I'm going to tell you that this neck is really big, and it's not just deep. It's not like it's just got a big old arch on the back of it. It's very wide. I mean, it's and I play 7-string, exclusively pretty much for my own music. And man, I mean, I feel like I can barely wrap my hand around this thing comfortably. But anyway, we get some pretty serious thin tone out of it, consequently. So we're going to go ahead and start on the neck pickup. And there is only 3 positions, of course. You have your neck, both humbuckers, and then the rear. And this is a hardtail guitar, no tremolo at all. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the neck pickup. And I'm going to start with my fingers. And just start playing some kind of pretty stuff, I think. We're just gonna kind of move around a little, pop over to the middle position where we have both humbuckers on. Again, we got the tone and volume rolled up all the way. Kind of a deal. Rear position. Real quacky, you know, Tele. So, I don't know. It's just a trip for me to get to play this guitar. It really is. And if it wasn't for this page, I'm not sure that would have happened. So, thank you. Let's do some heavy stuff. So we got the amp set up with a pretty good amount of gain. And this guitar, especially with these mini humbuckers, just has this kind of like awesome, like balls to the wall punk rock sort of sound. So I figure we'll start there with this new one I'm working on actually. Kind of more of a psychobilly tune, but it's fun. So, I don't know, we can kind of go through the usual shreddy stuff if you want, you know, like... I just started with that because of the really killer note separation this guitar gets, and I got such a beef with guitars that have too small a fret wire, and you don't get that nice clean note separation that I like. you know, first of all, I love all their body guitars, man. I really just do. And they got that, you know, and then given the single cut Tele shape, I mean, it's just got that twang banger sound to it, you know. I just, I love this stuff, you know. Whatever. Man, I mean, and you really get like that ice pick detail out of it. Is like they're not such hot pickups that they don't back off. Like to me, when I'm playing this kind of heavier stuff, you know, like that still sounds like legit for metal, but on the, you know, like there's nothing overwhelming about the output of these pickups at all. And you know, the amp's ripping right now. The amp is really set up to be, you know, roaring. I don't know. I mean, that seems kind of cool to me. Very interesting. But again, I mean, like this guitar, like I just looking at it, I'm like, what the hell? What do you play? What do you play on it? You know what I mean? I was kind of kidding about the Moog thing, but I mean, really, like it just, golly. So we're gonna keep this one short today. You know, I really wanted to share this one with you. It's so special, and this is a sign of things to come, guys. I got a lot of cool stuff lined up for the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the more cool stuff I can get on the page. And I'd love to be able to do that with you. So anyway, thank you so much for coming back. I love the comments. Love seeing you guys around. Thank you so much. And if you don't know about William Burroughs, check him out. If you've never read Burroughs at all, never, you're kind of an edgy dude. Maybe you like Tom Waits. Maybe you like punky kind of stuff. Maybe you're really out there yourself. Maybe whatever. Read Junkie. Read his autobiography, read Junkie. It is just, you cannot go wrong, you know, that kind of stuff. So, man, I don't know. Thanks again, and see you around.